Kiernan Shipka didn't stumble into Hollywood. She grew up inside it. Cast as Sally Draper in Mad Men at just 6 years old, she held her own alongside powerhouse actors in one of the most acclaimed series of the decade. But even then, she wasn't just a child star, she was studying. With every scene, she absorbed nuance, restraint, and the art of silence. By the time the series ended, Kiernan wasn't just recognized, she was respected. She wasn't chasing fame, she was crafting a future. As the lead in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Kiernan didn't just reinvent the teenage witch, she gave her fangs. Her Sabrina was fierce, feminist, and fantastically flawed. The role demanded everything: vulnerability, anger, humor, power, and Kiernan delivered it all with a fire that lit up the screen. She balanced gothic fantasy with grounded emotion, turning spells into statements. In her hands, Sabrina became more than a supernatural icon. She became a voice for a new generation of girls who refused to be defined. From period dramas to dark thrillers to quirky rom-coms, Kiernan Shipka has made one thing clear: she can do it all. She brings elegance to costume dramas, edge to horror, and heart to comedy. Whether she's in Feud, The Silence, or voicing Janora in The Legend of Korra, she adapts seamlessly. Her choices reflect her versatility, not just in genre, but in tone. Kiernan doesn't chase roles that look good on paper. She chases characters that feel real, and with each project, she keeps the audience guessing and growing with her. Kiernan Shipka is a fashion chameleon with impeccable taste. From vintage-inspired silhouettes to bold avant-garde looks, she treats the red carpet like a playground of identity. She's not afraid of volume, color, or risk, and that fearlessness has made her a muse for brands like Fendi, Prada, and Dior. But her style isn't about trends, it's about expression. She dresses like someone who knows herself and isn't afraid to evolve. In a sea of predictability, Kiernan brings artistry to fashion. Despite growing up on screen, Kiernan never lost her sense of self. She speaks with clarity, curiosity, and maturity, well beyond her age. In interviews, she's poised but never rehearsed, articulate but always authentic. She's reflective about fame, passionate about storytelling, and unafraid to speak her mind. She carries herself like an old soul in a new world, blending youthful energy with timeless wisdom. She's not here to be a celebrity, she's here to be a storyteller with substance. Kiernan Shipka embodies a new kind of femininity, one that blends softness with strength. She plays girls and women who feel deeply, love fiercely, and never stop fighting. Her characters aren't perfect, but they're real. She gives space to contradiction, vulnerability beside power, elegance beside rebellion. In doing so, she breaks the mold of the one-note heroine. Kiernan doesn't perform femininity, she redefines it. On screen and off, she proves that being strong doesn't mean being silent. Many child stars lose themselves in the Hollywood machine, but Kiernan Shipka chose independence. She doesn't overexpose, overpost, or overperform. She works when it matters, rests when it's time, and protects her peace with quiet confidence. Her career isn't built on headlines, it's built on integrity. And in an industry that often values speed over soul, Kiernan is choosing the long road, one that values depth, growth, and authentic evolution. Kiernan represents a generation that grew up in public, but learned to reclaim their privacy. She embodies the duality of being raised on screen while forging her own off-screen voice. Through roles that explore identity, womanhood, and inner conflict, she gives shape to the in-between. She doesn't pretend to have it all figured out, but she explores that uncertainty with grace. Her art reflects the journey, not the destination. And in that honesty, she's become a voice of emotional transition for young viewers everywhere. Still in her 20s, Kiernan Shipka has already left a mark that many actors chase for decades. But she's only just beginning. With upcoming roles, directorial aspirations, and deeper stories to tell, she's shaping a legacy of intention over hype. She's not interested in being everywhere. She's interested in being excellent. Every choice she makes, from script to speech, reflects a deeper vision. She's not just growing up in Hollywood, she's growing beyond it. And her legacy will be one of grace, grit, and enduring brilliance. Lakeith Stanfield doesn't enter a role, he dissolves into it. Whether he's playing a haunted detective, a surreal telemarketer, or a philosophical rapper, he disappears so completely into his characters that you forget you're watching an actor. He's unpredictable, magnetic, and unafraid to get weird. And in a Hollywood that often demands clarity, Lakeith offers mystery. He doesn't explain himself, he lets the art speak. And the result is one of modern film's most compelling, layered bodies of work. In Sorry to Bother You, Lakeith gave one of the decade's boldest, most genre-defying performances. As Cassius Green, he navigated absurdist capitalism, identity politics, and surreal science fiction, all while keeping the emotional core human. He moved between comedy, horror, and tragedy with astonishing ease. The film was a chaotic masterpiece, and Lakeith was its steady heartbeat. He didn't just carry the story, he amplified it. The performance cemented him as a storyteller unafraid to challenge both audience and system. As Darius in Atlanta, Lakeith delivers one of TV's most fascinatingly strange and soulful characters. He's eccentric without being cartoonish, philosophical without being preachy, hilarious without trying. Darius feels like someone you've met in a dream, soft-spoken, unpredictable, endlessly curious. Stanfield's performance is rooted in stillness, using body language and timing to create meaning from moments that other actors might overlook. He doesn't chase laughs or emotion, he waits for them to arrive. And when they do, they hit hard. In Judas and the Black Messiah, Lakeith Stanfield took on one of the most emotionally complex roles of his career, Bill O'Neill, the FBI informant who betrayed Fred Hampton. It was a performance built on anxiety, guilt, and inner collapse. He didn't play O'Neill as a villain. He played him as a man slowly unraveling under the weight of his own fear. The role earned him an Oscar nomination, but more importantly, it showed the world just how deep his emotional well truly runs. Lakeith doesn't chase the press. He's not everywhere, and that's by design. He keeps his personal life close and his craft sacred. He gives sparse interviews and often communicates more through expression than words. But that quiet exterior hides a storm of creativity. Whether it's through spoken word, music, or photography, he's constantly exploring new ways to express emotion. He doesn't want to be a celebrity, he wants to be a vessel. And in that intentional silence, he becomes even louder. Lakeith Stanfield dresses like no one else in Hollywood. One day it's a velvet suit with no shirt, the next, it's high fashion mixed with streetwear, jewelry, and unapologetic flair. His style is fearless, fluid, and always unpredictable. He doesn't dress to impress, he dresses to express. In doing so, he challenges gender norms, red carpet expectations, and the idea that black men in Hollywood have to be polished in only one way. His fashion isn't an accessory, it's part of the performance. Beyond acting, Lakeith is a musician and poet, often releasing experimental rap under the name Hatia Kal. His sound is lo-fi, personal, and richly layered, another reflection of the emotional complexity he brings to film. He uses rhythm the way he uses silence, strategically, hauntingly, with intent. Music isn't his side hustle, it's another language. And like his acting, it defies structure. It may not be mainstream, but it's authentic. And that's the only currency Lakeith ever deals in. Lakeith chooses projects that question power, identity, and the system. Whether it's race, capitalism, violence, or mental health, his roles always carry weight. He doesn't just act in stories, he chooses stories that act back. He sees cinema not just as entertainment, but as resistance. That's why he gravitates towards stories that make people uncomfortable, because in discomfort there is growth. His filmography is more than impressive, it's intentional. And through it, he's helping redefine what storytelling looks like in the 21st century. Lakeith Stanfield may be one of the most elusive actors in Hollywood, but his impact is permanent. He's never taken the obvious path, and that's why his journey feels more like art than industry. Every performance is a risk, a stretch, a question. He may not always explain himself, but that's the point. He isn't here to be figured out. He's here to reflect back what we're too afraid to say out loud. And that makes his legacy not just cinematic, it makes it revolutionary.